We have a garden. I'm so excited to share the space with you guys. So in my last garden tour video, I had a completely blank slate out here and I was going over all of my hopes and dreams. And now we kind of have a start on that. I want to show you guys everything that we have going on so far, what my other plans are, kind of more of the layout now that I have a better idea of how much space we have. This is about 1/4 of an acre. It was originally going to be our riding ring area for my horses, but I had been daydreaming about having a space to grow food. So we've been raising our own meat, but I didn't have anywhere to grow any vegetables or fruits or anything like that. So we had actually been looking at other properties because we are, if you look behind me, these woods, this is everywhere. Our whole property is heavily wooded. We cleared it one tree at a time with our little tiny 1998 John Deere and renting stump grinders and everything. And we have created a growing space. So anyways, let's go over all of various growing spaces and what my plans are for the future of this garden. This will be one of the entrances to the garden. It comes right off the back of our horse barn, and all along here, we're going to clear out all these trees, and all along this fence, there's going to be another fence, a garden fence, and then our horse pasture fence, and somewhere for us to trail ride in between. And then on this side of the garden fence, all the way down this side, we're going to do like a cut flower bed. And then there's going to be a drive-through that goes all the way through the garden. Over there, we're going to put a little sitting area, which looks out. Sorry, I'm trying to block my child, which looks out all over the garden. I'm really excited about creating some spaces for us to sit and enjoy the garden. But here, I haven't decided what I'm doing right here. The fence is going to kind of end right where this log pile is and cut that way, and then we're going to clear that to be our riding ring. So it has rained for like the last 3 days, and we have some standing water. These are things that we're going to address. It's all good. But over here we have in-ground garden. I have like squash, watermelon, pumpkins, anything that wants to really run and is heavy is kind of over here. Then that over there, those tall beds, that's going to be like my potager or kitchen garden. And I'm going to grow like different lettuces and herbs and everything over there right outside of the garden house. I'm not really calling this a greenhouse. I guess it will be my greenhouse, but we've been calling it the garden house. I hope to host events and different classes and things like that in there. So it's more than just a greenhouse. And then we have obviously our raised beds. All of these raised beds are the Vago or Vigo beds. And I really, really like them. They're really easy to put together and they seem really well made. But we're going to do trellises in between each one. If you have these Vago raised beds, we tested out both. So we tested out a cattle panel and then hog panels. And we have our Vago beds set up to be 4x8, I believe. And if you look, so this is the cattle panel, which hangs over way too much. And then that's the hog panel, which fits perfectly. So you have to account for this like little curve in them. And I really, really like the way that the hog panel fits in between the beds. So this is going to be our winner, and this is going to be what we have as trellises all the way down. I mean, the cattle panel looks fine, and we're going to raise them up with T-posts. We just haven't done that yet. We have to go through and collect some more T-posts. That's a job for another day. We still have trees to pick up. This is very much an in-progress garden, so don't judge too much. This video is really like a diary for me to see where we are the first year and then how far we get the second year. I'm really excited to watch this garden grow over time and to get to share it with y'all. So when you come out of the raised beds, and we're gonna mulch everything in there in between the pathways, we've got some wood chips at a farm down the road. So we're gonna go and grab some wood chips and put everything down and really heavily mulch this. So it's a little bit raised up and a little bit more even ground. But on this side of the raised beds, these are just some old split rail fencing that was here when we moved here, and we went and dug it up and found it. We're going to till these up. I was just mapping it out. We're going to till these 2 spaces up, and these are going to be our asparagus beds. I love asparagus, and it's so expensive at the store. So I really wanted to go ahead and in our first year get this growing, because you know it takes 3 years to actually harvest any asparagus. So these 2 spots we're going to frame out, till up, and these are going to be for asparagus. And we're going to put a little bird bath, I think, and pollinator little water station right here in the center. And then, like I said, over there, that's going to be our little seating area. And there's going to be a driveway that goes all the way through, like over in front of the garden house. We have some trees, some apple trees started back here in the corner. We're going to put in a couple more. And then we had a little cherry tree, but I killed her. Whoopsie daisy. On this back here, the fence is going to go all along the back there. So right on the other side of our mule along the fence, we're going to do a whole bunch of raspberry bushes, and that probably, well, that might end up being where my blueberry bushes go. I'm not positive yet. And I think we're gonna do a little picnic area right here beside the garden house. And the garden house I'm gonna bring, I have green stalks back at the house. I'm gonna bring those up, and we're also going to put rain barrels on the sides. So my green stalks and the rain barrels will go on the sides of the garden house. In the very, very, very future, I kind of want to put a farm stand right there, but I don't know if I can. But that's our driveway, and the driveway will come through here, right through where those trees are, and come this way and go right in front of the garden house. All of our in-ground gardening. And here is the garden house. This is going to be a window greenhouse, and my husband is doing this all by himself. I am so grateful for him and his many, many talents. He is a wonderful man. Not only is he a great husband and a great dad, he is a great builder. And he has built everything on this farm himself. Any dream that I have, that man turns into a reality, and I'm just forever grateful for him. But let me give you a tour of the garden house. So this weekend for Mother's Day, we got some of the windows put in. We're going to frame out and make the bottom solid all the way around. I thought that we were going to be done with this in February, and then I decided that we were going to stain and poly the roof and all of those rafters and purlins, and that took weeks. So it is beautiful, it is gorgeous, but man, that took a long time. In the front here, we're going to make like a fake bay window with windows that open. So that's going to go here over my sink, which let me show you that. That is so cool. I absolutely love how the ceiling turned out. I think it's beautiful. We're going to paint everything white, so all of these doors will be white. These were all free that my dad found and gave to us from one of his friends. So we got all of these for free. That was from a local friend. That was for free, and so was that big window. And then these other windows were from a house down the road that somebody was having all of their windows replaced. So we got everything for really cheap except for the actual framing, and my sink was free too, and let me show you that. So this sink, my dad, I had been looking for one of these sinks for forever on Marketplace, and they were all just way too expensive and way out of budget for us. So my dad was actually over at somebody's house building a fence for them, and he looked in the neighbor's backyard and he saw this sink, and he was like, hey, what are they doing with that? It was just kind of standing alone, totally overgrown by vines. I will insert a picture. And he was like, is that a sink? And they were like, yeah, it's our neighbor's. Like, it's just been out there forever. And he's like, well, do you think he would let me buy it? And so they were like, yeah, we'll talk to him, like, see if he wants to sell it to you. So they go and talk to the guy, and he was like, you can have it. It was in an old greenhouse that we tore down when we moved here, and we just have no need for it. So I cannot believe that he ended up finding a sink, getting it for free, and it was a sink that happened to be in an old greenhouse. So now it's ours. Let me show it to you. So as you saw from the picture, it was totally old wood gray. Hi, baby. And I went ahead and painted it. This is a green that I absolutely love. It's Oak Moss, I believe, by Sherwin-Williams. And then I just wanted to add a little floral moment on the front. These flowers, some of these flowers are actually my children's birth flowers. So this chrysanthemum, the two roses, and the daisy. This is just so cool to me. I spray painted the nozzle, and I spray painted the grates down on the bottom so I can place things there to drain. And it looks out over the whole garden. And I just think it's so special that it came from my dad. My dad found it for me and brought it here and everything. So this is a really special piece to me, and I can't wait to start using it and planting with it. It's got nice big drains so I can rinse things off and not worry about them getting clogged up with soil. Super, super special piece. We've been building we've been using it as like a workbench. So there's stuff all over it right now, but she's nice and solid. It's not going to hurt it. So when you come into the inside, other than my beautiful sink, on the back wall here, we're going to shiplap everything, and we're going to have a countertop and some cabinets. And then there's going to be shelving on the top of the cabinets on the ends. And then I'm planning a little mural in the center. So we're gonna have tons of planting space and places to set things, tools, all that. Storage all the way along the back. This building is 16 by 24, so it's nice and big. And then I'm gonna have a planting table in the center with like some hardware cloth or something where I can plant stuff and not worry about the soil sitting on top of the table. This door is going there. And we have more windows that we need to put here and frame out the bottom and everything. But that's pretty much the greenhouse, garden house, whatever you want to call it. I think that that's pretty much everything. I absolutely love this building, and I cannot wait to see it done. It's definitely taking a lot longer than I expected, but that's just kind of how I am. I think that everything takes like a minute, and it doesn't. And then right outside this door, you walk out and there is the potager garden and our tiller that shouldn't be out in the rain, but it is. But this will be our little kitchen garden. Super, super cute. And I have a little raised bed planter I think I'm gonna put here or in the front over there. Now that we have kind of a little speed tour, let's go over everything that we've got growing right this second. It's not a lot, but again, this is our first year and I just wanted to get some stuff in the ground. I have been so excited and so anxious to actually be able to grow things and have a sunny spot where I can grow things, where things will grow. So I was like, I just need to get things in the ground. So we halted this and we started getting these done and working on these instead. Let me show you what all is growing. A lot of things aren't growing just yet. I was late getting things in the ground, but that's okay. We have a long growing season here. We are in 7B, previously now 8A. So we have a long growing season and it will be fine. So let's go over it. I didn't label anything because my daughter lost my Sharpie, and so I'm going off of memory. But these are Boston pickling cucumbers on the ends. And then these little guys, I have different radishes and different beets and my daughter's little caterpillar. Hey, don't mess with anything. And then I have, so it's beets and then 2 different types of radishes. And then along the sides I have chives. You want your caterpillar? Okay.
It's pink.
It is pink. Here you go. You got it? It's all dirty. And then in this bed over here, I have zucchini that I'm going to vertical train with some cages. On the corners of most of the beds, if I remember correctly, I planted marigolds. So that's what these little guys are coming up. They're just little babies. In this bed, I have okra. So this bed is all okra. And there is bottle gourds on the end here. These are Kajari melons on the end, which who knows if I will get those to sprout. I don't have very good luck with them. But everything else is kohlrabi, which I'm excited to grow and try. And again, marigolds on the end. This, this I chaos planted, so there's a bunch of everything. There's hollyhocks and zinnias and calendula and cosmos and different marigolds. This is a mess. I don't know how it's going to turn out. I just threw everything in here. Yeah, but there are marigolds, I believe, on the end. And then this is Black Prince tomato that I got from the store. This bed is eggplants and green beans and various little markers that my daughter drew on that I'm leaving in there because they're cute. This is a pink Brandywine tomato, another heirloom, so it's indeterminate and it's going to vine, sort of vine. I say that loosely. So I have the trellis for that as well. Ellie, don't pull on that, baby. And then green beans. So green beans and eggplant. Over here, I have Roma tomatoes, and then nasturtiums are all over the place. Cherokee purple tomato. These are Japanese cucumbers, which my son is so excited about. He's going through a Japan phase right now. And then these are all peppers and various zinnias. We have lunchbox peppers, poblanos in the center. There's another poblano right there, but my daughter stole the sign. And then carnival sweets, which are like a mixed bag, and then yellow and orange. And then jalapenos, I believe, are on that side. Over in the in-ground garden, we have the big pumpkins down here on the end. So these are the Big Macs by Burpee, all down here that need to come through and thin out. Little Jack, or Jack Be Little, that's what it's called. Jack Be Little pumpkins. Patty pan squash all down here. And then I believe these are patty pan as well that I didn't label because I ran out of markers. And I think that I planted some sunflowers in between those, which of course they're all sitting in the ground right now. So our soil is super sandy, so I'm not entirely worried about this whole water situation. It poured. It has rained at least 5 or 6 inches in the last 2 days. So this is kind of an extenuating circumstance, and the water won't always be around like this. But I'm really not worried about it because our soil drains so fast and so well. This will all be gone hopefully by this evening if it doesn't storm again, which I think it's supposed to. We have butternut squash. So that was that row. Then we have butternut squash along this row all the way down because I want to have squash over winter and I love butternut squash soup. And then we turn and we come this way, and these are all watermelons. So that little guy down there, I think I had one. Oh, there he is over there. These are all different sunflowers that I have growing. I need to uncap this little guy. Hey, little guy, will you let that go? There we go. Yeah, so those are all sunflowers going through there. There's a little baby watermelon right there. I had a couple of watermelons that didn't come up at the same time as the others, so I went back through and put some more sugar babies in. The other ones are a different variety. I can't remember right now what they are, but I planted a bunch of different sunflowers through here, and they shot up overnight and didn't want to let their little seed caps go. So these are all watermelons. Yeah, these are the sugar babies that I had to replace the other watermelons because they didn't want to come up. So I'm excited to see those coming up. And then last but not least are the crookneck squash down on this end and some mammoth sunflowers that I planted in between those. So these are all crookneck. Oh, I'm so excited to see them with their real leaves. And my little sunflowers. Oh, y'all are falling over. That storm hit hard, huh? Sorry, guys. Now they're very pretty. And these are all a crookneck as well. Again, I need to come through and thin everything out, but that's where we are right now. I'm super excited for this garden. I cannot wait to see what we can grow here, what we build here, all the different growing spaces that we create. I want it to be a little unruly, a little wild, just kind of not so clean cut gardening. I want it to almost look like a mess, but everything have a purpose as well. So I'm really excited for this space. I can't wait to keep sharing it with y'all and give you updates and just kind of be able to watch back. Oh, I love you. I can't wait to watch these videos back in a couple of years and see where we were and see where we are now. So thanks for watching. If you have any content creators that you think would be good for me to watch, obviously I love Roots and Refuge. I love Bree. I love More Than Farmers. I love being able to have a visual of people's growing spaces. So if you have anybody that you want to send my way for growing tips for a beginner gardener, because I have no idea what I'm doing. I have a lot of help from some friends, but I don't have any idea what I'm doing, and I can be a little stubborn and hard to teach. So if you have anybody that I should be watching, please send them my way. If you have anybody who does really great garden tours, like I said, I love Jess at Roots and Refuge. If you have anybody else that you think gives really great garden tours and goes over all of their spaces and can give me some ideas of just little things that I might want to add to my crazy, wonderful garden that I get to build, please send them my way, drop them in the comments. But other than that, I hope to give you guys another tour in maybe a week or so. So I will see you next time. Bye, guys.